Good day, gamers. Purple Mentat here, bringing you episode 14 of my Regrowth Let's Play. Almost screwed up the name. I wanted to call it Agrarian Skies and then Clouds of Darkness. Man, what's wrong with me today? So last time we got started on Witchery, and I made some new Botania toys that are going to make getting around my much larger base a lot easier. Have not worked on anything between episodes, just gathered up the essence as it grew, so that I will have access to some materials when I need them. Now, we're going to progress the Witchery quest line a bit. We're not going to push it too hard because there are still a lot of Witchery quests coming in the future. First thing I want to do, though, is I want to get a cauldron made, and I'm going to take some of these Witchery plants that we farmed, the water artichoke seeds, the belladonna seeds, the mandrake seeds, and the snowbell seeds. Well, I need one of each seed in this case. Let's get our iron put away so that we have the inventory space for it. And we're going to be able to put those 4 seeds together to create a special item called Anointing Paste. What Anointing Paste is going to do for us is it's going to allow us to transform this vanilla cauldron into a witch's cauldron. So we're going to stick the cauldron right there for now. We're just going to right-click it with the Anointing Paste, and poof, we have a witch's cauldron. Now the purpose of this is if I add 3 buckets of water to it, now it becomes able to perform recipes. Most of them require some form of power in the form of an altar in the world, but that is a whole situation that we are not even ready for yet. Instead, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using some of our mandrake, the exhale of the horned one that we already had, and eggs to create mutandis. Now, to make that mutandis, we're going to need to get this cauldron boiling. And the easiest way to do that, actually the best way in my opinion, is get a piece of netherrack down underneath it, and we're just going to light that up using our flint and steel. And that'll burn forever and let the cauldron, well, you know how the Shakespeare goes. It's, well, I don't actually remember it off the top of my head, but you can look it up. So now we need to apply the proper ingredients in the proper order. All you need to do is once it's nice and boiling like that. By the way, if you sneak with the Sojourner staff, you can walk right up against the one block without accidentally climbing it. So to make the mutandis, we do need to throw things in order, and it's going to take a little bit of time to produce. And it takes the mandrake root, the exhale, then the egg in that order. So mandrake root, exhale of the horned one, and an egg. And you notice as I throw things in that some particle effects happen and the water changes colors. It does give you some feedback that everything happens. And there you go. Then it produces 6 mutandis for you. Let me go put this cracked sand away real quick. So I'm going to spend some quality time, me and my cauldron, and I'm going to transform all of these eggs into mutandis to give me a good stack and a half of the stuff before we go any further. And once we're ready to progress, well, actually, I'm then going to spend some time gathering the plants that are required. All you need to do to create the glintweed, ember moss, and Spanish moss is use mutandis on some tall grass that you create with some bone meal, and then you'll be ready to gather it up with your shears, which are just the standard vanilla shears. If you don't know how to make those, well, you've got any eye, look it up. Alright, see you when we're ready, folks. Alright, so I miscalculated on a couple of accounts. 1, 32 eggs turns into 3 full stacks of mutandis. 2, it took a stack and a half just to get my way to Spanish moss, ember moss, and glintweed. Quite a bit of work. Hopefully, we'll have an easy way to grow and replicate those. I'm going to need to look into that at some point, though. There we go. Good. It says effective tool axe and didn't break instantly. I was a little bit concerned. All right, let's check our quest book and make sure that that is finished. How the world changes. Wicked shrubbery. Fantastic. And gives us some snowbell seeds, which honestly I'm just going to put into the composter because I have no use for them at this time. Moving on, we can dump some of these plants into... You know what? I should gather everything up and move it into a Witchery-specific chest. That makes sense to me. build a witchery chest over there. I'll do most of that off camera. In the meantime, let's see what we need for the next quest, and I can get started gathering materials. Hello, Poppet. One of the best parts of being a witch is messing with people's heads. One way to do this is with Poppets. Small dolls which can be tag-locked to people. You can use Poppets either to protect yourself from a number of harms, or can use them with a tag lock bound to other creatures to deal harm to them. Use the tag lock on a being when they aren't looking or on their bed, and you will have a tag lock bound to them to use as you please. Whether your intentions are nefarious or nice is your business. So, it wants me to create a Poppet and a tag lock kick, and it'll give me a tag lock kit, and it will give me a fire protection Poppet. Let's take a look at what it takes to make a Poppet. Well, this is something that is created using Spanish moss, bone needle, string, and wool, or, nope, that's the only way, actually. There is no ore involved. Everything else is a different variety of Poppet. As such, I'm going to need a lot more of this Spanish moss. Let me look into how I can go about farming that and get myself a little bit better of a witchery area set up, you know, get a chest over here, that sort of thing, and then I shall return. Alright, so a quick check confirmed that the Spanish moss does indeed grow exactly like vines, except faster. So if I just put some there, it should start growing. We just need to give it some time. Time is luckily not at a premium because we have plenty of other goals that we can work on while we wait for our Poppets to provide themselves. Now, I would very much love some redstone. I've got a couple of options to start working towards redstone. I can work on more of what the world is made of, complete these obsidian seeds, and then get into what the world is built from to finish up the strong infusion stone and start making the strong essence seeds. But you know what? We've been playing with seeds a lot, and I know that there is a fish that will give redstone if I can just get to it. Now, there is, it appears, the start of a fish breeding chain in the encoding of the world, so I'm going to do some work on that while we wait for the witchery to work. First step is sifty business. In the encoding of the world, we have some life forms have the potential for great growth. Maybe you should help them along to increase their chances of surviving in this harsh world. I'm expecting both fish and bee breeding in this quest chain. Fish are the first animal you found that have the potential for genetic enhancement. To get started breeding them, though, you'll need a way to catch them, which will require some form of bait. Yep, that's right, we're gonna get into fishing. You guys know how much I love fishing. Well, some of you do anyway, those of you that have been here since the beginning. From what I have seen of the comments, there are quite a few new viewers in the audience, so hello, thank you for joining us. Alright, let's make ourselves a sifter. The sifter is a mariculture device made from planks, sticks, and this fishing net. And fishing net is made with sticks and string. And I grabbed just enough string to do it. Great. So we're going to go ahead and get the fishing net made, as long as I'm in the proper UI, that helps. And I'm going to need 2 planks, and I have no planks over here. I'm still recovering from the build, as this is the day after it all happened, and I am trying to get a bit of a backlog built back up. Because, yeah, we burned through the entire thing while I was doing those cosmetic builds. There we go. 2 sifters. And, oh, that's all. There we go. The sifter is a 2x1 multi-block. We will get some grasshopper bait for creating it. And that should unlock some more. And I think we'll use this little corner over here as a good start. Sure. You know what? You can live right there. And there you go. We get a sifter. If I take a look at NEI, mariculture bait items can be achieved from the sifter. Uh-oh, someone had a bad time. And if you take a look, all you need to do is, for example, toss the appropriate block on top. Like if I were to toss dirt on the sifter, I would have a 40% chance at some ant and a 10% chance at some bait worms. So let me grab some dirt and show you how that works. I'll grab a stack. And it's just a matter of right-clicking. Every right-click will sift 1 of the blocks. So there you go. It's a relatively quick operation to go through an entire stack and get plenty of bait. Now, I'm sure this next quest is likely to start telling us what we can do with the bait or demand us to make more varied types of bait. A fishy situation. Now that you've got some bait, time to arm yourself with a fishing rod and find yourself some fish. To catch live fish, you'll probably want to stand in the water. This is accurate. Better fishing rods can be made from wood soaked in fish oil and titanium, each having better chances of catching fish and requiring different types of bait. We're going to be given a wooden fishing rod once we create our reed fishing rod. So let's take a look at that. Reed fishing rod is made with sugarcane and string. Whole lot of string involved when you get into the fishing. Oh, you know what? I have no more string. That's fine. We should have plenty of leftover cotton. I swear the cotton fields are where I'm going to end up building the first golem or whatever other automated gathering companion I end up creating. So we will create 2 string and then the reed fishing rod. Quest complete? No, detection task. It now wants me to catch some fish. Go catch some cod. Well, let's build ourselves a little fishing pool somewhere. Well, I mean, as long as I'm doing it over here, I might as well go ahead and do it up over here. So I'm going to dig myself out a little 2-deep fishing pool that is just going to be, 3 or 4 wide. You know what? We'll do 4. There. I like the look of that. And check F7. There. Oop. And there. There. Now everything is covered. And I think that I'm going to put some dirt down on the bottom of this because I want to. I want to replace as much of this cracked sand with soil as is possible. So I'm going to finish getting this dug out and I'm going to fill it with water. And when we're ready to continue and do some fishing, I shall return. Alrighty, we have our little pool dug out and now we're going to make use of our snorkel so that we can spend some quality time under the water fishing. Because if you catch a fish while you are above water, well, you're out of luck. Easy way to fish, what I learned from Agrarian Skies, is to dig a pool, aim straight up, pull back, and, Oh, you know what? You need to choose some bait. To actually make use of bait, this can use ant, bread, or grasshopper. Well, it gave me grasshopper originally, and it's asking for cod, so I imagine that it's going to work like this. You need to have the bait directly next to, the pole. Don't hold right-click, just tap it once. And then cast it, wait for it to fall, and when it bounces, then you can collect the loot. Just like that. There we go. We got raw salmon from that. Apparently, it did not survive. It is not a guarantee, after all. And you can pop up to gather any air that you need while you're waiting. Now, there are 3 goals that I have for this. Yes, I want to get the cod that is necessary for the quest. However, I would also very much be happy if I could manage to find some raw pufferfish to go with this. Well, some pufferfish to go with this salmon. I am terribly unlucky when it comes to fishing, though, so this process could take some time, especially given the server and the fact that you're never quite guaranteed a lag-free experience on any server. So I'm going to spend some quality time, me and my fishing rod, under the water, trying to get my hands on what I need, and once I'm there, well, then I shall return. But before that, I am going to make use of the rest of these fishing nets. See, fishing nets are kind of a really cheap auto fisher in mariculture. What you can do with them... Oh, that's not right. It's not bobbing. Oop, no, it's waiting. It's still trying to catch a fish, at least. At least I think that's what those... There we go. Raw goldfish. I don't know why I'm getting raw fish instead of live fish. This is how it's supposed to work, from what I understand. You stand under the water and you're fine. I will check into things in more detail. Anyway, the fishing nets you can place on top of water, and nope. Don't attempt to walk on them. You will be stuck bouncing forever. Oh, that was awful. So don't attempt to walk on them, but they will occasionally just generate a dead fish for you to collect. It'll end up bouncing around on top of the fishing net. So if you have any way of automatically collecting items from the world, which you have available to you if you know your Botania, you can easily automatically generate a bunch of raw fish for your uses. All right, folks, I'm going to spend some time fishing, and I shall return when I have some better items to work with. See you soon. All right, folks, I've been doing a little bit of fishing while I did some reading in the other tab and some reading of the Fishing and Breeding number 42 book that you are given when you create the reed fishing rod, and I discovered something interesting. Cod only likes salt water. As such, we are going to need to travel from our current wasteland biome to the ocean to be able to catch cod. And I want to create something new before we do that, using the raw pufferfish and the raw salmon that I have acquired. Specifically, it is an item from Botania known as the Ring of Chordata, and it requires a Rune of Mana, 4 mana steel ingots, and those raw fish that we just picked up. Let's grab the goodies that we need. Where's the mana steel? There we go. Get this crafted. Now, the Ring of Chordata is an item that is equipped in Baubles in one of the ring slots. And what this does, it doesn't actually say here, but I can look it up in the Lexica Botania for you in Baubles and accessories. It allows the wearer to swim like a fish. While equipped, the wearer is bestowed with the ability to accelerate to a decent speed, also gives good sight underwater, and if mana is present, at the cost of some of it, the ability to breathe indefinitely. This is the gold star that I am looking for. Now, there's one other item that I would like to make. As long as I'm using something that's going to be passively draining away from my mana tablet, I would like to passively restore some of that. And to be able to do so, we need the Band of the Band of Aura. That's what we're looking for, which is going to be a Rune of Mana and 4 mana steel ingots to make the Band of Aura. And as it says with the Band of Aura, it will slowly, while equipped, create mana and store it into mana-containing items in the wearer's inventory. So I can keep this mana tablet in my inventory, and it will create the mana and store it there for me. I'm going to use 4 more of my mana steel. We're starting to get decked out in some of the cooler items available from Botania now. Fantastic. So we're going to take this and our... Ooh, you can see the Spanish moss is spreading. That's fantastic. Before we leave, we're actually going to expand the area that can spread, because I should stay close enough that it's still loaded. Ooh. Careful where you gather that from, I suppose. So we're going to spread this out to 1, 2, 3 more of those areas. And hang on, where did my tool bag go? Do I have my Rod of the Skies hand? Did I throw that in my Botania chest? That's a silly thing to do. Can't imagine why I would want to do that. This should live on me at all times, because this is my easy way to go right up and over the wall, but I slow right down when I do. So keep that in mind. You do not continue at the speed you are going when you use the Rod of the Skies. Alright. As I remember, the ocean is off to my west, and I will need to travel east to return home, because I will be out of sight of home when I get there. I love how much faster I can get around now that I've got this Sash of the Sojourner. And now that we're underwater, as you can see, we can swim quite a bit faster than before, and we have much improved visibility. So we're going to spend some time on the ocean bottom now, fishing with our reed fishing rod. Oh, let me just get my grasshopper bait in place. And now that I am underwater, I can happily just toss it right in front of me, and eventually I should get a splash. Now, watch my bubbles. They're about to run out, but I won't be taking damage. Instead, it just refills. There you go. Alright, that is really weird that it keeps floating back to the surface. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to hear it bob from here. And that squid's getting in the way. I can't see it. This is very strange. I guess it tries to float to the top? In any case, We're going to keep an eye on it. I'm going to show you the first. There we go. Ooh, we caught a stingray, and as you can see, it is alive. Lifespan epic, fertility pathetic, productivity normal. Now, I can take this out of the water with me, and it will stay alive as long as it is in an inventory, as you can see. However, the instant it gets thrown on the ground, it will drown in the air because, well, it's a fish. They're not meant to live in the open water. We're currently in a beach biome. Let me see if I can find an actual flat-out ocean that is a little bit further from the sea bed. I think that island over there might be my best bet. I think I actually travel faster underwater at this point than over the water, which is kind of hilarious to me. Alright then. I like this ring. Nope, this is considered a wasteland. Alright, well, we might just have to put up with beach then. Beach should be good. It should still have the salinity that I need. So I'm going to head back east to the beach. I'm going to do some fishing underwater, and I'm going to find that cod to be able to continue along the quest path. See you soon, folks. Alrighty, folks. As you can see, I spent quite some time fishing, and I fished my way right through that fishing rod entirely. Let's complete a fishy situation and get a wooden rod plus a fluid tank, which in this case is full of 16 buckets worth of fish oil. That's going to be very, very useful at speeding things along a bit for some of the more complicated fish-type recipes. Keep that in our mirror culture chest for now. Next on the list, we have feeding time. Once you have yourself some live fish, you'll want to build a tank to keep them in. Different fish species require different sized tanks to live in. The core of any tank is the fish feeder, which deploys fish food to sustain the fish, and is also the point where you can interact with the otherwise freeform tank structure. Tank is measured as the number of blocks of water surrounding the tank. When you place your fish in the tank through the interface of the feeder, it may give you an error message. If the tank is too small, it will tell you how many more blocks of water need to be nearby for that fish species. The tank size also determines the amount of fish food that can be stored in the feeder at once. To provide fish food, you can either drop fish meal in the fish meal item in the water around the feeder, or you can pump in liquid fish food. So first off, we need to get the feeder made, and to make the fish feeder, we're going to need some wicker made with sugarcane and sticks, which I thought I had, but I do not have sticks yet. We will solve that situation now. Remember, right-click to pick up one stack of a recipe. You know what? I don't have chest on hand either. We can also solve that problem. Never too many of these. And I have a couple of raw fish, and that's all I will need. So, wicker. I want 6 of these, so we'll just reduce that by half, and then clear out the crafting interface with the inventory tweaks button, and there's our fish feeder. To get fish food, just take a raw fish and stick it in the crafting grid. There we go. Next step, basic cooling upgrade. You may also find you need cooling upgrades to make the temperature of the tank habitable for the fish. To get the needed snow, you can use the snowbell plant, which you may need to do mutations to get. Luckily, we're ahead of the game on that. So, we are making cooling upgrade, which is made with snow and the cooling component made from planks and iron. Okay. Do I have enough snow? I do. We'll make a couple of cooling components because we don't know exactly how many we'll need. So 2 snow, and I need you so that I can make the cooling components. I used up all of my planks of wood. That's okay. Easy fix. I've got a pile of them over here, left over from the big wall build. Really need to finish cleaning up from that at some point in time, but you know, it's a slow process. Bam. 2 basic cooling upgrades. It's a good start. Claim our reward of 8 bottle of fish food. And that's as far as we can go right now, it looks like. We're going to have to come back to this later. Probably after we've built some of the tech from what the world enables. Yeah, we'll work on that next episode. For now, let's go back down to how the world changes and finish up this Poppet quest. We're going to need the tag lock kit and a Poppet. tag lock kit is the easy part of the two, made with a glass bottle and a bone needle. The bone needle is made from bone and flint. Luckily, we have a large supply of flint and an infinite supply of bones. So, simple as that to get your bone needles. As for glass, well, I mean glass bottles specifically, those aren't too bad either. There we go. 8 tag lock kits are go. Now, the poppet, as you remember, requires Spanish moss. So let's grab our Man of Steel shears out. Have a go at some of the moss on the wall. I believe we just need the one poppet, which can be made. I need wool, I'm going to need more needles, and I need string. Alright. I may actually need to set my cotton farm back up. That, or maybe I'll make myself some sheep if I can find a way. We'll have to check the life recipes here. Do I have any string preset? No, but I have wool, of all things. That amuses me more than it should. Plenty of wool left over. Do not have any leftover string. So we will solve that situation. And how much wool was it? The bone needle. I used up all of them. That's okay. One more bone, one more flint. There. And we shall create Poppet. Just the one for now. It's enough to finish the quest. Now I can start putting some things back. How fast my inventory fills when I mess around like that. Come here. We're going to put the fishing nets into the mariculture place, and we'll put all of the fish supplies, like the fish food, the feeder, and everything will go into this fish chest right here. Feeder, raw tuna, fish meal, bottle of fish food, wooden fishing rod, fish. Also the cooling upgrades. Get rid of all the things. Back to the quest book. Next crafting task. One of the simplest poppets to make, a water protection poppet, will protect the tag locked being from drowning. Bear in mind, you will need to keep the poppet on your person for it to have an effect. Well, let's check this out. Water protection poppet. There it is. It is made with water artichoke and ink sacs. That is very simple. Luckily, I went hunting for squid last time I was in the water. Unluckily, I only had the one ink sac, but that doesn't matter because we have dye essence, which can be made into ink sacs very, very easily. Do like that, and we'll just make a few. There we go. Now the water artichoke globes, we grew a bunch of those when we created the water artichokes, so let's get that water protection poppet going. Or not, that's cool too. I will do it by hand. The poppets must not stack, so they don't like to be put into the crafting grid by any eye. So there's our water protection poppet. That will complete the quest and allow me to claim the fire protection poppet. So to get tag locks, we're going to want to go to our own bed in this case, because these are beneficial poppets that I want to use on myself. Maybe later on I will use one of the trollier poppets on, I don't know, Saffron or something. We'll see. So there you go. As you can see, tag lock kit bound to purple mentat. We're going to connect that to the water protection poppet, because why not? And the fire protection poppet. There we go. We'll keep these on us until we learn more about exactly the effects that they have. You know what? Let's go find out. If I were to open up my inventory and take off both my snorkel and my ring of cordata and toss myself in the water, let's watch what the water protection poppet does. Oh, drowning, drowning. Well, I'm taking a good bit of damage, so that's not changed. I wonder if it's waits until the HP runs out and then the poppet dies and I get refilled. That's what I'm expecting. Bump, bump, almost there. So very close now. Yep. It did indeed restore me to half health and consume the poppet. I don't know if the fire protection poppet will do the same. Either way, kind of interesting mechanic there. And it's not like it's going to be hard to replace them. It's more a matter of you need to get to the point where you can unlock them. And that appears to be everything that we have unlocked now for how the world changes. It will also be all of the time that we have for this episode. Between episodes, I am going to make the obsidian seeds because you've seen how to get all of the components and they are very, very simple. Just rune of earth, rune of fire, rune of water, some obsidian, 4 regular essence, and an essence seed. And I'm going to start those growing. I might make myself another field just so I can get 4 things upgrading at a time. That seems like it would be for the best. These gold plants are probably getting pretty close to maxed out. Let's check out this seed, as long as we're at it. Wow, grabbed out of there quick. Yep, 10, 10, 8. We are close, but not quite there yet. Excellent. I could stop at this point, but you know what? I'm just going to let it finish its path. I'm finding that connecting in the middle here, starting from one end and let it going all the way to the other of a 7x7 area, very fire and forget, and pretty much will get me to 10, 10, 10. I mean, it needs to gain 2 more strength in that many more growths. So 7, 8, 9 more spreads. Yeah. There's a pretty large chance that that'll happen. So this is a decent setup. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's the best, but it seems like the way to get the most guaranteed stat upgrades in the smallest physical area. I'm going to experiment with a couple of other ways of doing this as well between now and the end of the series, but there's only a handful more seeds that we're going to be making anyway. So next time, we'll probably be progressing seeds again and pushing our way into extreme essence and getting ourselves, or strong essence at least, and getting ourselves some redstone. That, or maybe I'll do some work on what the world enables and start making some more of the tech that I have available to me. Either way, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If so, please leave a thumbs up and tell me what you liked about it. If not, please leave a thumbs down and tell me what I can do better. Either way, you'll have interacted to ensure that he continues showing up in your subscriber feed, and I'll see you next time.